Anti-Afro Spengalis, I'm going to get right to it. Who does this message apply to? You have failed yourself. This applies to anyone out there, no matter what you do, no matter where you are, whoever is trying to force or compel others to assume responsibility for their conduct. You have failed yourself. This expectation is unreasonable and it's nonsensical. Now, there are exceptions where we are backed up against the wall and put in a bind, and we are likely to go ahead and accept at least partial responsibility for someone else's actions against us. When your car is stolen, when your car is vandalized, when any other property is destroyed and you don't know who it is, guess what happens when you have insurance? There's a deductible. So much to our chagrin, if we're in this situation, we have to come up with some money to be made whole. Well, you can decide not to file a claim, but you won't be made whole. But we're not talking about this situation. But what I'm referring to in this video is Carrie Ann. Tucker High School, you need to know about Carrie Ann and what she's doing. It's a disservice that they have no idea the things that she is doing. And Carrie Ann expects everyone else, anyone else who's objecting to her conduct, to assume some sort of guilt trip role. I didn't do anything wrong. You're attacking black professionals. Don't talk to me about attacking black professionals. Let's talk about how you place lives of black men in danger by leveling accusations that are false, criminal accusations of a sexual nature, the kind that have historically resulted in our black men being de-existed. And I'm not going to sit here and say, if you're non-black and somebody falsely accuse you of a crime of violence that's of a sexual nature, that you shouldn't feel just as outraged. I'm only focusing on the symbolism, the historical significance of false accusations towards black men. You're attacking essentially every other protected group and expects to be able to slide by with that. And I told Carrie Ann, you accused Rev G of harming children. You had no reason to make this statement. And I made it very clear that I wasn't going to arrest until you were held to answer for what you did. And there are so many other things that she has done. But let me show you something. Identical mindset Carrie Ann has with Danielle Allen. Using another name here in her Twitter account, she went on this race attack tirade. People got wind of it and started criticizing her because they knew she was a teacher. Like, she was telling people, I'm a school teacher. I teach elementary school kids. And here she is speaking of de-existing a person based on race because the person was dating her sister and people of the same race were in her house, and she just went bonkers and started making just horrendously abusive, race attacking statements. So people are calling her out. How can you be a teacher? The same thing that Carrie Ann gets mad about. She goes on these vulgar, disgusting, abusive, actionable tirades and has the nerve to get mad because people say, what kind of teacher are you? Well, this is what they were doing here on social media, challenging this Danielle Allen. And then she comes back with taunts. I walk into school. I walk in the halls of the school. Be sure you read the message. I may not leave them on the screen for that long, but you can go back. I walk in the halls of the school and you can't fire me, Twitter thinks, whatever. Look at her message. The same type of complacency that Carrie Ann exhibits. I haven't done anything wrong. Really? Well, we'll see about that. She says she didn't do anything wrong. It won't be Carrie Ann's decision and it won't be our decision. But now she comes back with, you all found my job. And then she relays messages that she says comes from administrators at the school level. And this is the reason why, in general, it is a bad idea to file complaints with schools. When you realize someone works at a school and they're engaging in this type of conduct, it's not recommended in general. In this instance, it was effective. It was on such a large scale. But I do believe she was told this to delete the post. You're good to go. Ha ha ha. I believe it. This is believable. The reason I believe it, because the school was put on blast. The news media stated that the principal was supposed to notify all parents of this episode involving Danielle Allen, and they didn't do it. So that is the reason why I am telling you, don't mess around with filing complaints at the school level. Administrators get hypersensitive about being blamed for the conduct of teachers and other employees, even if it's off the clock. Who wants their school on the news? Who wants the school being showcased because of negative behavior by teachers or other staff? They think if they keep it under wraps at the school and talk to the employee, okay, get it together, don't do anything else. I believe it. I absolutely do. And the news media report backs up what I'm asserting here. They didn't do their job. So Carrie Ann's hoping she will experience the same situation. But let me tell you again, filing complaints exclusively at the school level is a bad idea. You need to access those with decision-making authority over the school, and that would be the school district. I stated this before about, let me see your handcuffs. When I filed the complaint, the district wanted to know if I'd notified the principal, and I told them no, and I told them why. But they requested that I notify the principal. But this is after they were aware. I understand their position. It's an outside complaint, so they want to make sure the reporting party informs the principal. Yes, I'll inform the principal, but this is after the decision-making authorities have been notified. And you have an example of the reason why right here with the Danielle Allen situation. Then you have a person coming on saying, I don't think so. They're really converging upon the school. Remember, the volume of complaints the school can't ignore. And then she comes back with a message which is not believable, saying the school board this, the school. No, decisions are made through meeting, researching the law, and the regulations that the school board passed. They don't make arbitrary individual decisions about employees. So here comes the school district. This is in Mesquite, Texas. The independent school district made it very clear that this person no longer works for the district and is not eligible for rehire. Now, I made a mistake. I thought that she was fired, but apparently she resigned before the investigation could be complete. So this is a circumstance where someone really feels that they're untouchable. That word, I know we throw that word around. This is the attitude that Carrie Ann has, and trying to lay guilt, saying, well, you don't care about black professionals. A rogue public servant is not a professional, but let's go along with that for a second. Call her a black professional. I have the same amount of concern about what befalls Carrie Ann as a result of her conduct as she did when she made the statements that she made and did the things that she did over the last 2+ years. You cannot force someone to give a damn. She didn't give a damn. We have a right to seek justice based on what Carrie Ann has said and what she has done. Nothing that anyone can say, run up and down about, you're trying to get people fired. She was trying to get black men arrested. That's what she was doing for false accusations. We are speaking the truth. These are Carrie Ann's words. And it's galling for her to sit here and think that we have some allegiance. What allegiance do we have with Carrie Ann, a person who sat here for 2+ years, lied on people, accused people of participating or engaging in crimes against children with no proof? Every single protected group she has verbally abused and harassed, and wants to consider herself a victim now that she's taken down nearly 300 videos. Let's see if she's going to tell the school district she took down 300 videos. lying about saying people are doctoring her words. Well, they can look at the whole entire live stream. They can sit through these live streams. She said all the things. Carrie Ann's behaviors have been pervasive. They've been in the extreme. They're not acceptable. People have a right to know. I completely support Breaking the Culture of Silence's campaign to bring awareness to this. This is ridiculous. We are not here on this earth for Carrie Ann to be a venting windbag of abuse. No one has to put up with what Carrie Ann has done. She was giving fair warning. Continuing down this road is going to have some serious consequences for her. What gives Carrie Ann an exemption? Carrie Ann doesn't get an exemption. Carrie Ann is saying she didn't do anything after she took down nearly 300 videos. She put more videos up, took those down, says she didn't do anything. Well, again, the decision is not ours. The decision is not Carrie Ann's. The decision rests with the school board. We have a right to report this conduct. Carrie Ann was given fair warning. Whoever objects to it, you have a right to object to it. It has no bearing on how we're going to move forward, collectively or individually. There definitely needs to be an intervention when Carrie Ann has a disagreement with other adult women and she brings in their minor children, invokes her belief that the minor children of the women she's having a disagreement or an argument with are going to be promiscuous, quote, like their mothers. This is what she said about breaking the culture of silence and Stargate. What are you doing as a teacher invoking minor children into an adult argument? The thought even coming into someone's head who's a teacher is extremely troubling and needs to be further investigated. What lies beneath this garbage? She's making it known that she has disdain for children. Who would want to put a child in that context because they're arguing with their parent? We have seen people target children when they're mad at their parents, and it has gone far beyond words. We've seen the news stories. We may even know about situations in our own personal lives or professional experience. But this is coming from a teacher, and no one is going to sit here and tell me that should be brushed off as it's just YouTube. It's not just YouTube. It's someone who has responsibility for children who is targeting children. As for the sentiment which Danielle Allen shared, that there are no consequences in order for this conduct because I'm a good teacher, so nothing's going to happen to me. Well, first off, how do you know Carrie Ann's a good teacher? You don't know that. Have you seen her performance evaluations? Performance evaluations determine whether you're a good teacher. If you're unionized, even if you're not a good teacher, it's hard to get rid of you just based on you're not a, quote, good teacher. This is not the university system. So if you're not a good teacher, okay, we're going to put you on a plan to improve. Ultimately, the question is, how do you know? Just because somebody comes up here and says they're a good teacher, that they're a good teacher? Well, let me tell you this. You're not a good teacher if you don't follow all the rules. And the rules include adhering to the code of conduct 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So she's not a good teacher. Being a good teacher is not just one element. It's a totality of areas where a teacher is evaluated, including adhering to rules and regulations. No one sitting over there on Carrie Ann's page is going to lecture us and tell us what we're going to do with the information that Carrie Ann has spewed against us. You are fools. It's truly sickening. Carrie Ann had a barrel of laughs, thought this was funny when she was attacking people. Let me see your handcuffs. Did the exact same thing, was 100% in the wrong and tried to convert into victim. It was funny. It was a barrel of laughs while they were putting out this information, thinking there was going to be no stoppage. They could say and do whatever they wanted. Well, no, you can't say and do whatever you want, not without consequences. You cannot engage in the conduct that Let Me See Your Handcuffs engaged in, that Carrie Ann continues to engage in, and expect with any sort of rational thought process that you don't have consequences that are rightfully due. She's the aggressor. She continued. She refused to listen. She thought it was funny, but it's not funny now that she sees that we're dead ass serious about her being held responsible for what she did. How do you not hold somebody responsible for wrongdoing? I mean, the nerve of her trying to hold someone responsible for having done nothing through her false accusations. People, you know I have much more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.